Thanks for tuning in to the Owlboy Love Fest, Nindie Nation, a weekly podcast dedicated to games for Nintendo Switch developed by independent studios. I'm Jeff, and this is Josh.
Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Josh. Each and every week, we'll take you through the newest titles on the Nintendo eShop, discuss the best deals you can't miss, and shine a light on the biggest titles that you need to be playing, all the way down to the hidden gems you can't miss. We'll dive into what we're playing, what we think you should be playing, and everything else that has made the Nintendo Switch the go-to platform for fun and unique games made by some of the best independent developers in the industry. As always, we've got a lot to cover this week, so let's jump right into what's been keeping our Joy-Cons synced. Josh?
Or maybe Joy-Cons unsynced.
Uh-oh.
Jeff.
What's that mean?
Because as you speak, I am putting an order in for my 8-bit due SNES Pro controller. So
right.
I know you've been tooting that horn for the whole time we've been doing this show. So I'm going to make the plunge.
So now maybe a good segment for next week, or we could touch on it this week if we have some time. Maybe we touch on the best games to play with a great 2D controller like that. Any thoughts on what you're going to play first?
Let's see. What do you recommend?
Well, any recommendations that come out of my mouth this week are going to be Owlboy.
You said I could play it on the... Yeah, well, Owlboy. PS4. Let's see, you can play it with the PS4. Maybe I'll try some Dark Souls on it. Dark Souls Remastered. Now, go straight hardcore there.
So what was the 2D Dark Souls-like game? Is that Salt and Sanctuary?
Yeah, Salt and Sanctuary, yeah.
I fell in love with it playing through Shovel Knight. So, maybe if you haven't... dabbled in Shovel Knight in some time, or you haven't played, if only we had that King of Cards quest, that'd be great. But
Nintendo needs to bring over Salt and Sanctuary as a Nindie, so they're listening to this podcast right now. They better get on the ball with that. And I will say maybe 20XX is what I'll play first with it, because it's I will get into that. But
well, that's one of the games you've been playing this week, so dive right in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so if you like Mega Man, you like RPGs, you like leveling up, you like roguelike games, 20XX is coming out soon, actually next week for the Nintendo Switch, and it is, oh my gosh, it's what Mighty Number 9 should have been, in my opinion. I like Mega Man games, but I think they might be on the too hard side for my taste, but this actually takes it and makes it so much better.
What makes the challenge more palpable about it?
Well, you get like a slide dash like in the regular Mega Man 2 and further on, but the good thing about it is when you fall like into a pit or something, you don't just die. You you lose a little health and then it starts you back to where you were from, which is a lifesaver many times for me. And then also you can there's lives. You have a set number of lives, so if you do die, you'll just start from a checkpoint, which is really nice. And you can play on hardcore mode where you only have one life. But
okay.
Yeah, I really prefer actually having the lives, and then you get power-ups like Mega Man, but the power-ups you get like your normal shot power-up where it can fire in like all different directions, or it can make the shots more powerful. But then you also get the special powers from the bosses you defeat that you actually buy at the end of a level. Mm-hmm. So you can actually buy like more health, or you level up that way. It
sounds like a lot like Mighty Gunvolt Burst in that way. That's kind of what I'm picturing. The finish a level, you get a little bit more currency or whatever, and then you apply that towards your character.
Right.
Is it a similar structure to that game?
Yeah, you get to choose after. You won't be able to buy everything, but between levels you can choose, hey, I want to upgrade my health, want to upgrade my power meter, or like you said, you can buy the special power-ups, which I think you get 4 at a time that you can use and switch between, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I'm not all the way through it yet, but it's really deep, and it's one of the best games I've played on. I keep saying that every week, it seems like.
I mean, I'm going to say it this week as well. So,
oh, yeah.
How long is the core experience of it?
Oh, I'd say I'm probably 5 hours in, and I'm still playing through it.
You're
so
still
I'm
playing like new levels. I mean, is the structure like level boss, like a Mega Man?
Yeah,
game?
it's sort of like you keep going back to the beginning. There's different levels, and then it randomizes the bosses, so you're not choosing from like 9. There's like 3 you choose from, and then you keep doing that as you. Yeah, it's really unique. So there's bosses you might not have seen before that you can choose to take on.
Now, is it trying to do a Super Nintendo aesthetic, like graphics, music, or is it like a modern approach?
It's more modern, I would say, but definitely you can tell that the developers had their love for this game.
Right. Well, I mean, given the name and all that stuff, I mean, the main character looks just like Zero, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got the ponytail going on or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool though. It's a game right up your alley. So.
Oh yeah. I think it comes out next Friday, right? A week.
Yeah,
from
July
tomorrow?
10th, I think.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, it comes out in July. So
it might be. Yeah, it's Tuesday.
So I'm gonna be on vacation. I'm gonna be living that lake life next week. So this is definitely gonna get some game time. Like, family will be outside loving the sunshine. I'll be like, no, sorry, there's too much glare.
You'll be
out
under
there.
the shade canopy.
Yeah.
Kids are drowning in the pond. You're just like,
no, one more level.
Not now.
Swim. I know you're only 9 months old, but swim.
They float.
That's amazing. So what else have you been playing this week? We shared a couple of games. Should we get into those?
Sure, we can get into those. How about we hit on Mushroom Wars 2 first?
Yeah, let's do that. So Mushroom Wars 2 also launches next week on the Switch. It is a sequel to an RTS type style game that came out. The original came out, I think, in 2010, and the sequel came out on Steam and I believe on consoles other than the Switch in 2016. So this port's been a while coming. I think I would best describe it as it's certainly a real-time strategy game, but I feel like it's one part RTS and one part tower defense. Like, I get a vibe of, like you said last week, kind of like Kingdom Rush, but also like Pixel Junk Monsters. Did you ever play that?
Yeah, it's more about taking over the whole map versus just trying to defend enemies from getting to the finish line, like in the game you mentioned. So
right. Yeah, I mean, so the core mechanic of your life bar, as it were, is up at the top, showing how many of your little mushroom dudes are on your side, and usually it's in the hundreds, and then you want to make sure that you capture all of the bases or the houses, and you just do that by directing your little mushroom people over to the opposing team's houses or turrets or towers or whatever it is. I don't know about you, but I was really confused with the controls at the beginning, but I got around to it pretty quickly, like 15, 20 minutes. I was like, okay, I get this now.
Yeah, why weren't there touch controls? I mean, if it's a mobile type of game, that sort of threw me off there. But like you said, I get the controls came to me further on. It's just the whole, like, it wasn't what I was expecting in a sense where, like you said, you try to take over all the little buildings with your soldiers, and as you go against other buildings, they die as they go in, and you actually have to, this seems sort of sick, but you have to sacrifice your own mushroom men inside their towers to upgrade it. So I don't know how they do that, but
yeah, I played it for like a day before I noticed, like, oh, they're all dying. So so to set the stage for those listening, you're looking at a top-down screen. Imagine like an infinity sign where on the left side there are like 3 green or enemy towers, and on the right side there are 3 orange or friendly, your towers, and in the middle are gray neutral towers, like 5 of them. And so when you send your characters over to one of the houses, You can turn it into a turret, or you can make it a house. If it's a house, it'll start making more mushroom men. And then every like 10 or a couple dozen that are in there that it makes, you can upgrade it so it makes more faster. And I noticed parts of it, the way that like you have to balance, do you I don't know, breed? I guess they're breeding. I don't know
What do mushrooms do?
I don't know what they're doing in those houses, but they make lots of little mushroom people really fast. So
And they're ready to fight right away too.
right, they're very aggressive, those mushroom people. You either choose to like breed more mushroom people or send those people out to battle and to take over other encampments.
And
so,
you
like,
worry about them being destroyed by the other defenses the enemy has, or if the number's greater in the building you're trying to take over, then they won't be able to conquer it. So you have to there's more strategy involved than what it looks like, and that sometimes you just have to wait to build up your army before you just go on an all-out attack.
Yeah, and to that point, it's quite fast-paced. I mean, when you look at the screenshots or maybe watch a video, like it looks like a bunch of slow-moving decisions, but I found that like I tried to watch a couple of shows on TV while I was playing it, and like you can't take your eyes off of it for a second. Like it gives you like a 3 to 5 second countdown before the battle starts. And if I'm looking away when the timer says 0 to start, I will lose. Like you really, I mean, it demands your attention, which is cool.
Yeah.
Presentation wise, music, story, stuff like that, I didn't really see anything to write home about.
You could tell it has a mobile type of sensibility to it.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's a ton of content though if you're into that. I mean, I barely made it to the end of the campaign, and that's after like 8 hours. So
yeah, I will say I'm gonna go back to it. I had fun with it. If you are a fan of that kind of stuff, anything from pixel junk monsters to Kingdom Rush to, I mean, even parts of it, I was like, this feels like my old Zerg Rush days from StarCraft. Like playing online where you're like, do I want to build up my defenses or just try to bum rush my opponent and try to win? Like if that kind of stuff
usually fail that way.
yeah. But if that kind of stuff sounds fun, then this fills a void that I think that's the biggest caveat here is that this fills a void that's otherwise, vacant on the Switch. We don't really have many RTS games.
That's true. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, the content with the online modes where you probably spend most of the time, because the matchmaking was pretty good with it. But like I'm not a so-called expert, so I would usually get defeated pretty fast. But hey, if you have the time, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, something I am not going to be as kind about. Why don't you introduce the next game that we both played this week?
Oh, Squids Odyssey. Ooh. This isn't Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey. No, this is Squids Odyssey. And does it have a good ink vibe to you, Jeff?
No. But
you're not feeling this.
If I'm looking at things that can check off on the back of the box, it definitely rips off the turtle from Finding Nemo and its icon art. Like
it does.
You see in the icon art, it's like the
hey dude.
Yeah, the
hey,
surfer dude turtle. Yeah, what's his name? Like Crush, I think is his name.
Yeah,
you can tell we have kids.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Moana.
Oh no.
But I mean, okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest here. I'm hard on the game. I didn't find much to like with it, but I haven't played it that much, and I commit to playing more of it. And I think I need to play it with touchscreen controls. I was playing it with a controller.
Yes, you do.
Okay. So,
you do.
Did you play Smash Brothers on the 3DS, Josh?
No, I did not touch that game on the 3DS.
For those of you that have, the core gameplay mechanic is the exact same as the Street Pass game that is included in Smash Brothers for 3DS. The idea that you have these little circular, they almost look like pogs for you 90s kids, sitting on a table, and you hold on the A button, and as you hold on it, you pull the thumbstick back in the opposite direction of where you want to go, and you let go and you flick, and it kind of knocks others off the edge. But Josh, I think you probably played more of the game than I did, so dive into how was it past the first 20 minutes?
Well, it gets incredibly deeper the further you get into it.
Really?
And yeah, it gets a lot deeper. Like you're switching in and out your party members pretty consistently depending on where you're at. So let's say you need like a shoot. There's certain squids that have certain unique powers. Like there's a scout that can, he has a fast move set. He can fling faster. He can dash, making him go further. You have a shooter that can has a number of shots that he can take on the enemy before moving himself. And the whole premise of the game is to pretty much rid the battlefield of other of these black oozed crustaceans, if you will. And the missions as you get further actually get more complex, like maybe make it through a stage without losing a squid, or it gets pretty tough. But I found that using the touch controls was actually better because you can just like pull back like you would aim. I felt the aiming was more precise. Then you push, the A to shoot them off, and I didn't really have much trouble. I'm enjoying it more, I think, than you are, just because I like the RPG mechanics of, different helmets you can put on the squids that do different types of damage or whatever.
So you're telling me that I definitely need to spend some more time with it.
Yeah, maybe just play maybe try with the touch controls and just a little further. Mm-hmm. And if you don't like it after that, then yeah, you're probably not going to. But I mean, you can tell it's a mobile title because the first Squids and Squids Wild West were just mobile titles, and this one was just brought over to the Switch, and it was on the Wii U, I think, too.
So what's your thought? I mean, it comes out this week for the price. I can't remember how much it is.
It's $14.99.
Okay, what do you think?
So,
is that fair? Or
that's a little...
okay.
I think when they usually have sales like a month or two after, it was like $3 or $4 off. So if you can get it for $10, I think that's a pretty good price because there is a lot of content. There's actually 2 whole campaigns with it, and yeah, you'll get your money's worth if you like the gameplay. That is, if it doesn't appeal to you when you first play it, then, or I don't know if they have a demo or not. I want most of these games to have a demo because some of these Nindies are so complex that you need to play it before you actually buy it.
Certainly, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's Mushroom Wars 2, Squids Odyssey, 20XX. Anything else you've been playing this week that's coming out
I want to hit on Heroki.
Oh, what's that?
Which it's by the creators of Sonic Mania, actually.
Whoa.
It's actually an older game, but it's being ported over to the Switch. It was just a mobile title, and you play as this they're like helicopter people. And you play as one of them, and you have these semi-open world environments, like roughly stages that you can fly anywhere around. So it's sort of like Owlboy in the verticality and how it is in that regard. But you pretty much solve puzzles. You can pick up boxes and you throw them at enemies by pulling back on the stick, and there's puzzles to be solved based on that. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's just if you're in that mood for a cute platformer type of title where you can fly, it's pretty neat.
That sounds neat. I mean, yeah, you Sonic Mania, say no more. I love that game. That was probably my favorite indie game of last year. Can we call that? I mean, it was independently developed. It was published by Sega, but
yeah, that's an indie. Yeah. You need to classify that as an indie. Yeah, just because it's so great. Yeah, that was one of the best games they've ever missed. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's beautiful too. It has that Sly Cooper, like, Ratchet and Clank, like you like, sort of the art style to it.
You are just like I have a feeling.
I'm playing to your Am I gonna get you to buy this, Rod? No.
Someday, yeah. I mean, the last 3 episodes we've recorded, I've bought a game in the middle. And speaking of which, let me tell you what. Last week, I finally bought Owlboy, and you guys, I am in love.
Here we go.
I reached out to the composer of Owlboy, and his name, oh no, it's Jonathan. I want to say Gear or Greer. I'm gonna look it up because I forgot. But
he deserves recognition.
yes, he absolutely does. And so Owlboy is, at first, it was pitched to me as a Metroidvania, but I disagree with that. I don't think it's a Metroidvania.
There isn't a whole, like what they say about unlocking different areas. It doesn't really involve that. There is areas that you unlock with, but it depends on the people you get.
Yeah, and when you unlock something, at least in my experience so far, it is mostly like extra coins or
Secret rooms.
Yeah, unlocking something isn't changing the game as it would in like Super Metroid. Like, now you found the wave beam, you're an unstoppable beast. Like, I'm not seeing that. What it does is I was watching a GDC talk with Simon, the core creator of the game, the one that came up with the concept, did most of the art, and he was telling me that the two games that he drew inspiration from are Kid Icarus and Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, I don't see too much of the Mario Bros. 3 in it, except for the fact that it's like one of the best games on this Nintendo system. But it absolutely evokes the Kid Icarus style of verticality in the level, Josh, like what you were saying earlier. Tell me a little bit about some of your time with the game. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Like, you are probably way further than I was. I got to a point in it that sort of, because it does open up a lot more, and I just sort of got stuck. And then something else came out, and I sort of took my, because I like the game a lot, so I would like to play it more just to see where it's at. But I can see where it's going, like with you, depending on who you pick up and you get their powers, and you can go. That's how it opens up more. But yeah, it's a great game. But I'm like I said, I've been playing Hollow Knight with free time that I have, and that's probably one of my favorite games released on the Switch so far.
So, the composer's name is Jonathan Gear. I think I said Greer, so I was off by one letter. I am a recovering musician of sorts. I was in bands, and I used to write a bunch of music, and now I'm a dad and a gamer, so I don't have as much time for it anymore.
Our bald spots are showing through.
Right, exactly. So I like to try to listen to, a good soundtrack, pay attention to the music cues and things like that. And the soundtrack and the music of Owlboy is just phenomenal. Some music that you heard at the beginning, and I'm going to play something right now. We can pretend that we're listening to it. The music, especially one of my favorite tracks from the Tropos area. And Josh, if you remember, it's the music that plays. There's a really big epic thing that happens in the early hour of the game, and that becomes kind of your focus of resolving it through the rest of the game. And
that was heavy.
The first big open area that you get to when you fly up out of your starting area is Tropos, and the music that plays, it changes as it goes between day and night cycles, and the whole game, like whenever you're in an outdoor area, not only does it go from day to night, and it doesn't really do too much different to the game, but it's just beautiful. It makes the game feel so alive, and you get to feel or see the sunset and the music change, and even in areas where there's kind of a stealth section to it. Now, I say that I hate stealth stuff in games. It's more like hide from the spotlights, get behind the bush, watch the pattern, move past them.
Maybe that's about where I was frustrated, because it had something to do with stealth.
Okay, well, I mean, I've played quite a bit since then, and I haven't seen anything else really with stealth.
Okay.
I did get to an incredibly hard boss fight that was surrounded by fire, I'll say that much. and I was playing that yesterday, and I was like, I wonder if this is where Josh got stuck, because I was like, this is really
I don't think I've
hard.
gotten there.
Okay,
But yeah.
But even when you're doing this like sneaking section, when you hide behind the bush, the music ducks down and you just hear the bad guys walking around and patrolling, and it's just so good. It is not a Metroidvania. What it is a fairly linear. I'm gonna say fairly linear because I don't want to set the expectation that it's any kind of open world experience or anything like that. You are certainly guided from task to task. You're just given a little bit of freedom as you do it. The characters are phenomenal. You know, when I was playing it, I was thinking of Celeste, and I was thinking of how Celeste sets out to tell you the meta theme of the game. You know, it tells you very, very bluntly that this game is about overcoming your own mental obstacles. And then, you know, as somebody who has seen games try to do things like that for decades, when I saw Celeste do that, I was kind of like, all right, that's fine. And then, like, by the end, I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. But, so it totally proved me wrong. But I feel like Owlboy is kind of the opposite of that. It is trying to tell you a story about a bunch of people that are owls. And in the process of that, does just a masterful job of telling a story about overcoming your own insufficiencies, and about the power of friendship and camaraderie and determination. And it is just, I mean, I'm currently playing it right now, so I'm biased. It is currently my favorite game on the Switch.
Wow.
And I just, in a year that I'm playing this, and I've played Celeste, and I know 20XX is coming,
Hollow
and
Knight,
Hollow
20XX.
Oh, I was just thinking the other day, Josh, I was like, at some point we get to do a top 10 games of the year in Nindie.
Yes.
Like, that's gonna be awesome.
Man, I don't think we could get. I think we'll have to do like a top 20.
Yeah, I know. Or we'll have to do like a top 10 of the summer or something.
Yeah.
But so I'm in love with Owlboy. I don't care how much it costs. Just buy it. Like, just buy it. It's phenomenal. I got it for $17.99.
Yeah, you got it on sale, didn't you?
Yeah, and I'll check in a second to see if it's still on sale. But if it's not, just buy it anyways. It's amazing. I looked at the story, or at the screenshots and stuff, and I was like, I don't know. But what I came to find is that it looks like a modern day Super Nintendo game. I feel like,
yeah, with upgraded textures,
right.
And yeah,
almost like a HD Super Nintendo game. Like if the Super Nintendo could do 8 times as many pixels on screen, that's kind of what it would look like. But they even do like some really neat 3D effects with the clouds.
Well, then the backgrounds too. There's depth to the backgrounds. They're in the painter, how they're painted. Oh yeah, it. Everything, like you said, artistically and with the music, like, it's one of a kind. It's one of the best in that regards, at setting the mood and going from area to area. You just get lost in its world, and I can appreciate that about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk offline a little bit more about where you are, where you're stuck, and just be prepared, because I'm gonna start coaching you about how you got to keep pushing through and playing.
You need to finish this. I know. No, so many games, man.
Yeah. So, hey, speaking of which, I want to touch on one little piece of news / the rumor mill before we get into the new releases and sale of the week. If you notice this week, Nintendo's president mentioned in an investor call that Nintendo has not yet announced all of their 2018 lineup. Did you see that this week?
No, I didn't see that.
So Nintendo, after E3, had a massive drop in their share price because probably, the rule is you buy on the rumor and you sell on the announcement or the news. And so people were selling because they were thinking Nintendo is now a known quantity for the rest of the year. And if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that we don't know what the online service is launching with. We don't know what the second half of that 10 NES games are. And we saw very little by way of Nindies at E3. And I think that was out of respect on the Nintendo's part, because I think we're going to get an August or maybe even late July Direct that's going to have a bunch of Nindies. It's going to have all of the, I don't want to diminish anything, but it's going to have like all the pebbles that we're going to have to spend our time with in between the big rocks of Smash and Pokemon and Super Mario Party. You know, the games that are guaranteed to sell millions of copies.
Right.
And so I just wanted to touch on that. I mean, have you heard anything about that, Josh? You think that seems likely?
Yeah, I think I have heard that somewhere, actually. It seems like it's a possibility because, like, they did a Nindie Direct before. I think they should actually have these, like, quarterly, probably throughout the year, just to give a heads up on what's coming, because every week, some people are saying that there's no games on the Switch, and I don't know what you're not looking at.
Right.
Or you may just not be into indie games, which is
Ridiculous.
Fine, I guess. But you're just missing. You're
ridiculous.
You're missing out on some of the best experiences if you have that mindset. And yeah, like I said, I love these. These are probably my favorite types of direct, just because they show off so many games that I might be interested in. I love the big titles too, but I prefer indie titles more than anything.
Absolutely. So speaking of indie titles, let's jump into what's new this week.
I will say, another news article that I just found out at Anime Expo 2018, Skullgirls is coming over to the Switch. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it a side-scrolling shooter?
No, it's a fighting game.
What was I thinking?
It came out before. Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking of.
Fair enough.
Scott Pilgrim? No. Oh man, that's a game that I'd love to see on the.
So Skullgirls is a fighting game.
It's a fighting game based off some type of anime with Skullgirls. But I didn't know nothing about it, but I just bought it on a whim one day. It's a really solid fighter if you're into those types of games. It's actually, I'm not into fighting games too much, but it actually held my interest. It's more casual based, so I think that's probably why I was appealed to me. And we're going to get to the new releases now. Next week, or on the 9th, I want to bring attention to this. Pato Box. Have you seen this game, Jeff?
You know what? I saw it the other day, but I don't remember off the top of my head what it is.
It's like a Punch-Out game, only you're a duck. And it has adventure elements in it. Yeah, you should check this out.
Is it
it's
also a
cool.
roguelite with RPG elements?
Yeah. All I know is that it has, you actually walk through the levels as like you're the Punch-Out guy, and you go forward and then you run into enemies, and then you gotta find out how to beat them, and it looks pretty cool, actually.
Are you really a boxing duck? A surreal boxing quest with a duck? No way.
Yeah.
He's like all buffed out too. Oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, you see, you go through different environments, enemies. So
now hold on a second. I just clicked on the trailer on my Switch, and okay. I want you to keep in mind, this is a boxing game about a duck, okay? The following are listed as reasons why this game is rated T for teen. Violence, blood, partial nudity, drug reference, and use of tobacco. So you...
So don't let your little kiddos.
This is not one duck to mess around with.
Yeah. It looks cool though. Like I said, it's one that I'm intrigued about. I will say that. So
the art style is awesome. It looks like what was that black and white game on the Wii? Mad World.
Mad World, yep.
Very cool.
You won't see that much blood and limbs being taken off though, so.
Fair.
All right, moving right along here, we got Muddle Dash, which looks like an artsy sort of, I don't know, artsy type of game. On the 10th, you have Never Out, which, judging by the cover, looks like a puzzler of some sort. You have The Lion Song, which is probably an adventure game. We have Bomber Crew. I've heard some good things about this one. It's actually like a simulation where you have like a bomber plane, I think, and then you actually hire your crew throughout it, and yeah, try to bomb the enemies, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like like almost like a FTL or something like that, like a resource
Yeah.
management.
Probably an easier version of FTL is
Yeah,
what I would.
that game's pretty rough.
Yeah, but I mean, there's really no game like that on the Switch yet, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is also 20XX on the 10th, so you've heard my thoughts on that so far. Super Volley Blast is out on the 12th, which is, as it sounds, it looks like a volleyball type of game. We have Philipix on the 12th. We have Star Story, The Horizon Escape,
Oh, what's this
which,
one?
yeah, what's this one? This looks interesting.
This looks like a Metal Slug type game. No, it's a little adventure,
Yeah,
and
it looks like there's some flight in there, maybe, or yeah, adventure.
it probably has roguelike elements and an RPG mechanic.
Yeah,
Probably.
it's sort of like SteamWorld Dig, sort of, or SteamWorld Heist, the strategy game.
Yeah, that game was awesome.
Yeah, that game was incredible. Okay, we have Johnny Turbo's Arcade Express Raider.
I was really hoping
Which-
this was going to be like Oregon Trail, but it actually
This looks like a, yeah,
it looks like Russian Attack, but with a cowboy theme.
side scroller beat 'em up. Yeah, you're a cowboy though. So those games are usually pretty good. I like what he does with mastering games. Ghost 1.0 is coming out next week, which this is supposedly a Metroidvania. I'm actually playing it right now, but I have not played. I've only played like the opening, so I have no real thoughts on it yet. But that's one I'll be definitely talking about.
Yeah, this looks
Next
cool.
week.
This looks really cool. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts about it.
Yeah. Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop, comes out on the 12th as well.
If you've ever wondered why we do this podcast, it is because of drunk punching ducks and Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop.
Super Spy comes out on the 12th. We had Red Hot Ricochet, intense game of Ricochet duels, which comes out on the 12th. Radio Hammer Station, that looks like a sort of, I have no clue.
What is this? This looks like
I see swastikas.
oh yeah, I do too. But
Like fighting Nazis.
yeah, in fairness, it's the boss. He's
Yeah, you're fighting. You're not.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
not
you're
a
not a
Nazi. You are fighting the Nazi. Looks kind of like a beat 'em up, but there's like a crosshair on the screen, as if it's like a like a light gun game.
Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. Epic Loon comes out on the 13th, and Super Destronaut DX comes out on the 13th, and this looks cool because it looks like a mixture of Space Invaders and some other genres like a shooter. So that'd be a good retro fix right there, and it's only $5. So yeah, and that's all the new releases for next week.
What's on sale this week?
Great deals. Okay, Jackbox Party Pack 2, that's half off, which that's a great deal. Great party game to play. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. I think we may have hit on that last week, but that's a fun shooter type of Metal Slug type of game. That's really fun. One Strike is already on sale, which is basically it's a fighter, but you get hit once and you're dead. So it's in the same vein as whatever that retro title was that you hit once and you're dead. But
Bushido Blade?
it was pretty good.
Like
Yeah,
on the
Bushido
PlayStation?
Blade.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. Said a lot of the same sales are still going on. Singmora EX is still on sale. Then Mako Unlimited 3, those are two great shooters there. We didn't hit on Bleed last week. It's a fun, really fun shooter.
Now, there's two of those. Should we, if you're going to recommend one, do you just get the second one, or do you need to play the first one first, or what do you recommend?
No, they're nonsensical shooters, basically, but either one, they both control the same. You actually jump with the trigger buttons, which seems odd at first, like depending on where you're jumping to, or moving side to side. But it actually works pretty well. Like I was surprised about how good it controlled. Late Shift, that's an FMV title that was like a similar to like a David Cage Heavy Rain type of game, but it's all live action, and it was actually pretty good. The acting wasn't totally corny, which is always a good thing. We have okay, here we go. Immortal Redneck is 20% off.
Have you played that?
It is like if Serious Sam was in the tombs of Egypt, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty good actually.
I was gonna say that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's like you know what you're getting into. That
it's just a shooter, straight up first person shooter, but yeah, it's a lot of fun with like roguelite tendencies. Let's see, Slain Back from Hell. That's a game like Castlevania, but it's ridiculously hard, and I wouldn't recommend it unless you are into very difficult games.
But otherwise, is it good? I mean, is it a good competent?
Yeah, it has a really cool art style, but the gameplay I felt lacked a little bit. Like it isn't as precise, and you die like you can get hit off ledges and then you just die. And the checkpoints aren't very forgiving, and that's why I say if you can stomach hard games, then go for it. But otherwise, don't bother. And then Dead Synchronicity. Tomorrow Comes Today. I played that back in the day on the PS4. It's a different type of adventure game that rewards patience, I should say. And dark, gritty world, post-apocalyptic, and yeah, it tells a pretty good story. Very, very dark, but yeah, if you don't mind feeling depressed, then there's a game for you. So no, it was pretty good. So yeah, and I don't know if anything appeals to you from that sale.
I mean, once again, I see 9 Parchments on sale for $10, and that game is going to haunt me. I swear that like
every week.
I played the demo, and I thought the demo seemed cool. And I was like, but it's a little boring, and all the reviews say that you should play it with 2 players or more.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely need to play it with multiple people to get the most out of it.
We should get together and do some Let's Plays.
Yeah. Axiom Verge.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Have you played that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't played on the Switch, but I played on the Vita, and I'm sure it's the same experience. But yeah, it's a marvelous 8-bit retro Metrovania. It's pure Metrovania through and through. Like the environments and the weapons you get, like it. If you want that itch scratched, you got it with Axiom Verge.
And it's 25% off, and that game is not on sale very often.
No.
So that's good.
Totally worth it. Yep.
Great. Well, Josh, you want to tell them where they can find us this week?
Sure. Well, you can find us on iTunes. You can find us on our Twitter account at Nindie Nation. Our YouTube page is now open, so if you don't have iTunes, you can find our episodes up on YouTube. We have a Facebook group. You just look up Nindie Nation, and you can find us there. Please write us questions in. We would love to answer them on the show. If you have any recommendations or games you'd like us to talk about, or that we can pick up and play that you would recommend, we're all for that. If you could rate us on iTunes, get our name out a little bit, subscribe on YouTube, that would be great. Keep those analytics coming our way, and yeah, we are part of the Nintendo Village. You can get our episodes there, too. And like I said, they're pumping out great content almost daily. And as far as shows go, they have some quality shows that you should check out, too. So
great.
Yeah.
Let's see. For this week, in celebration of Josh getting his 8-bit Do controller, I'm going to ask the community, and we'll have to remember to post this on the Facebook page, what your favorite Switch accessory is. I would like to hear, see if there's something I'm missing. Do you have a good battery, a good case, a controller that's better than the 8-bit Do SN30 Pro? Spoiler alert, you don't, because it's the best.
I see you cradling it in your bed at night.
Yeah, well, and I'm laying on a bed of funds that have been provided from 8-bit. Not really, I wish. And a favorite stand, or that'd be great to hear. In fact, I might post that tonight. I got to go out of town for a week on Saturday, so maybe I'll mooch some recommendations from the community. As always, thanks again for listening this week. I'm going to play us out by playing another fantastic track from Owlboy. Jonathan Gear was nice enough to offer that we can play some of his music on the podcast this week. So
thank you.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you very much. You heard that at the beginning of the show, a little bit during the middle, during Owlboy chat, and I'm going to play us off with one of my favorite tracks from a dungeon that I am currently making my way through. Until next week, keep on playing those Nindies.